the illusion of control and how to master it. Opining, what if I told you that the control you think you have over your life is almost entirely fabricated by your brain? That the sense of steering your destiny is a convincing hallucination designed to keep you functional? Neuroscientists have proven something deeply unsettling. Most of your decisions are made milliseconds before you're consciously aware of them. Your brain acts, then creates the illusion that you chose to act. The feeling of control is a story your mind tells itself after the fact. This isn't New Age pseudoscience. This is hard science. Researchers at institutions like Max Planck, Princeton, and University College London have documented this phenomenon with precision instruments. Your conscious mind isn't the driver. It's the passenger convinced it's holding the steering wheel. But here's where it gets fascinating. Ancient Stoics, Taoists, and Buddhist practitioners discovered this exact truth 2,000 years ago. They called it different things: wu-wei, apatheia, radical acceptance. But they understood something profound about the nature of control. The paradox? Once you accept that control is an illusion, you gain actual influence over your life. Real power emerges when you stop grasping for fictional power. I'm about to reveal 10 specific protocols that exploit this neurological quirk. Each one leverages your brain's control mechanisms instead of fighting them. Master these and you'll experience something extraordinary. Freedom through surrender, influence through acceptance, mastery through letting go. Your brain is lying to you about control. Time to make that lie work for you. Part 1. The intention. Delay principle. You believe your intentions cause your actions. You decide to move your hand, then your hand moves. Cause and effect. Simple, right? Completely backwards. Neuroscientist Benjamin Libet discovered that brain activity initiates movement 300–500 milliseconds before conscious awareness of the intention. Your unconscious acts first. Your consciousness claims credit afterward. This is technique number 1 out of 10. The intention delay principle. For the next 7 days, every time you make a decision, pause for exactly 5 seconds before acting. When you reach for your phone, freeze mid-reach. When you're about to speak, hold the words. Count to 5 slowly, then proceed or choose differently. This micro-pause interrupts the illusion that your conscious mind is in charge. You're inserting awareness into the gap between unconscious impulse and automatic action. What feels like deciding becomes visible as noticing, then choosing. Your prefrontal cortex needs this buffer to engage in actual executive function rather than post hoc rationalization. The 5-second delay activates genuine choice instead of mechanical reaction. Start implementing the 5-second pause and watch the difference between impulse and intention become crystal clear. Part 2. Probabilistic thinking framework. You speak in certainties. I'll finish this by Tuesday. This will definitely work. I know exactly what they're thinking. Each statement assumes control you don't possess. Psychologist Philip Tetlock studied expert predictions for 20 years and found something remarkable. Experts who thought probabilistically, there's a 60% chance, were significantly more accurate than those who spoke in certainties. This is technique number 2 out of 10. Probabilistic thinking framework. Starting today, rephrase every prediction you make using percentages. Instead of, I'll get that promotion, say, I estimate a 40% probability of getting that promotion. Do this internally and externally for 30 consecutive days. Assign specific numbers to every prediction about the future. This recalibrates your relationship with uncertainty. Your brain craves certainty and manufactures it through false confidence. Probabilistic language forces acknowledgement of variables beyond your control without spiraling into helplessness. Forecasters who use percentage-based predictions show reduced anxiety and improved decision-making under uncertainty. You're not admitting weakness. You're embracing precision. Start speaking in probabilities and watch your ability to navigate uncertainty improve dramatically. Part 3. The negative visualization. Reset modern culture tells you to visualize success. Imagine crossing the finish line. Picture yourself achieving the goal. Countless self-help gurus preach this. The research says it backslashes. Psychologist Gabriele Oettingen found that positive fantasy actually reduces motivation and success rates. Your brain experiences the reward prematurely, then loses drive to pursue the actual outcome. This is technique number 3 out of 10, the negative visualization reset. Each morning, spend exactly 3 minutes imagining everything that could go wrong today. Visualize the specific obstacles, failures, and disappointments you might face. Make them concrete: the traffic jam, the rejected proposal, the critical email. Then ask yourself, if this happens, how will I respond? This ancient Stoic practice called premeditatio malorum prepares your psychological immune system. You're not attracting negativity, you're building resilience. Your brain rehearses adaptive responses instead of being blindsided by reality. When outcomes align with expectations, you experience less disappointment and faster recovery. The illusion of control dissolves, replaced by genuine preparedness. Start practicing negative visualization and watch your emotional resilience multiply while anxiety decreases. Part 4. Outcome Detachment Protocol. You tie your identity to results. Win the contract, you're successful. Lose the contract, you're a failure. This creates psychological fragility disguised as ambition. Research on what psychologists call contingent self-worth shows that outcome-dependent identity correlates with depression, anxiety, and ironically, worse performance under pressure. This is technique number 4 out of 10, Outcome Detachment Protocol. Before any significant effort, write down 3 things: your process commitments, variables within your control, and variables outside your control. Review this before beginning. During the effort, redirect your attention to process every time outcome thoughts arise. After completion, evaluate only your adherence to process, never the outcome. This exploits a neurological principle. Your brain performs optimally when focused on execution, not evaluation. Outcome obsession activates threat detection circuits. Process focus activates task-positive networks associated with flow states. Olympic athletes who focus on technique rather than medals consistently outperform those fixated on winning. The gold medals come as byproducts, not targets. Start evaluating yourself by process adherence and watch your performance improve while pressure decreases. Part 5. The circle sorting method. You waste enormous energy trying to control the uncontrollable. The weather, other people's opinions, the economy. Your brain doesn't naturally distinguish between these categories. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, articulated the most important psychological distinction 2,000 years ago: things within your control versus things outside it. Modern cognitive therapy rediscovered this as the foundation of mental health. This is technique number 5 out of 10. The circle sorting method. Draw 3 concentric circles on paper. Label them: control, innermost; influence, middle; concern, outer. Every worry or goal in your life gets sorted into one circle within 2 minutes. Tasks in the control circle get action plans. Tasks in influence get strategic approaches. Tasks in concern get conscious dismissal. Review this weekly. Your amygdala, your brain's threat detector, treats all concerns equally unless you explicitly categorize them. Sorting creates cognitive clarity about where to direct limited resources. Energy flows toward agency, away from helplessness. CEOs who implement this framework report 60% reduction in stress without sacrificing ambition. Clarity about controllability is freedom. Start sorting your concerns into circles and watch wasted mental energy redirect toward genuine agency. Part 6. Micro-chaos exposure. Therapy. Your need for control intensifies when your environment feels predictable. Paradoxically, this makes you more fragile when chaos inevitably arrives. Nassim Taleb coined the term anti-fragility, systems that gain from disorder. Your nervous system can develop this property, but only through calibrated exposure to unpredictability. This is technique number 6 out of 10, micro-chaos exposure therapy. Deliberately introduce small unpredictabilities into your routine 5 times per week. Take a different route home. Order something unfamiliar. Start conversations with strangers. Vary your wake time by 30 minutes. Each exposure should create mild discomfort, not danger. Your brain's prediction engine constantly forecasts the future based on past patterns. Voluntary micro-chaos trains your system to handle deviations without triggering full-scale stress responses. You're building psychological flexibility through controlled disorder. Special Forces operatives train this way. Small stressors build resilience for large ones. Comfort-seeking creates brittleness. Start deliberately disrupting your routines and watch your adaptability strengthen while control anxiety diminishes. Part 7. The Attribution Reframe. Exercise: when good things happen, you credit your skill. When bad things happen, you blame circumstances. This isn't just ego, it's a documented cognitive bias called self-serving attribution. Social psychologists have shown this pattern creates a distorted worldview where you simultaneously overestimate your control over success and underestimate your agency in failure. This is technique number 7 out of 10, the attribution reframe exercise. After every significant outcome, positive or negative, write 2 paragraphs. First paragraph. Explain the outcome as entirely due to external factors beyond your control. Second paragraph. Explain the same outcome as entirely due to your choices and actions. Read both. The truth lives between them. This forces metacognition, thinking about thinking. Your brain's narrative generation system produces self-serving stories automatically. Deliberately constructing opposite narratives reveals the arbitrariness of both. Balanced attribution correlates with better mental health, improved learning from failure, and protection against both arrogance and helplessness. Start writing dual attribution analyses and watch your understanding of cause and effect become more accurate and empowering. Part 8. Surrender Scheduling System. You fight uncertainty constantly. What if this happens? I need to figure this out. Right now, this mental wrestling match exhausts you while accomplishing nothing. Research on acceptance-based interventions demonstrates that scheduled surrender reduces anxiety more effectively than constant problem-solving attempts. This is technique number 8 out of 10. Surrender Scheduling System. Create a daily 15-minute surrender session at the same time each day. During this window, you're prohibited from problem-solving. Instead, write, I don't know how X will resolve, and that's acceptable. List everything you're releasing control over. Outside this window, you plan and act normally. Problems that arise get added to tomorrow's surrender list. Your brain needs permission to stop solving unsolvable problems. The scheduled container provides that permission without encouraging helplessness. Anxiety thrives on the belief that worry equals productivity. Therapists use this for generalized anxiety disorder with remarkable success. Containment creates relief while maintaining agency during action. Hours. Start scheduling surrender sessions and watch anxiety levels drop while decision-making clarity increases. Part 9. The Influence Inventory Technique. You confuse control with influence. I can't control their decision becomes I'm powerless, ignoring the vast middle ground where real leverage exists. Political. Scientists who study power distinguish between power over, direct control, and power to, influence. Most meaningful change occurs through the latter, which most people never develop. This is technique number 9 out of 10, the Influence Inventory Technique. For any situation where you feel powerless, spend exactly 10 minutes listing 20 different ways you could influence the outcome without controlling it. Force yourself to reach 20 even if the later ones seem weak. Then identify the 3 highest leverage influence points and act on them within 48 hours. This rewires learned helplessness patterns. Your brain defaults to binary thinking, control or helplessness. Generating 20 influence options illuminates the spectrum between extremes and activates creative, problem-solving networks. Community. Organizers use this constantly. They rarely control outcomes but consistently shape them through strategic influence. Start inventorying influence options and watch perceived powerlessness transform into strategic leverage. Part 10. The Locus Shift Practice Psychologist. Julian Rotter discovered one of the most predictive personality variables, locus of control. Internal locus correlates with success, health, and happiness. But here's the twist. Extreme internal locus creates anxiety and burnout. The optimal position isn't internal or external, it's flexible. You need the wisdom to know which attribution serves you in each situation. This is technique number 10 out of 10, the locus shift practice. Every evening, review your day's events. Identify 3 situations. For each, consciously shift your locus. If you initially attributed an outcome to external factors, reframe it internally. What actions of mine contributed? If you initially blamed yourself, reframe it externally. What factors beyond my control played a role? Practice this flexibility daily for 45 days. Your brain naturally gravitates toward one locus pole based on personality and past conditioning. Deliberate shifting builds cognitive flexibility, the ability to choose empowering interpretations rather than being imprisoned by automatic ones. Elite performers demonstrate locus flexibility, internal attribution for preparation, external for pressure release during performance. They control their controllables, then surrender. Start practicing locus shifting and watch your relationship with outcomes become simultaneously more accountable and more peaceful. Closing. These 10 protocols aren't separate techniques. They're an integrated system for navigating the paradox at the heart of human experience. You can't control outcomes, but you can influence them. You can't control your unconscious impulses, but you can choose how you respond. You can't control the future, but you can prepare for multiple versions of it. Control is an illusion. Influence is reality. Ancient wisdom traditions understood this truth through contemplation and practice. Modern neuroscience confirms it through brain imaging and behavioral studies. The Stoics called it the dichotomy of control. Taoists called it wu wei, effortless action. Buddhists call it letting go. The language differs, but the insight is identical. Fighting for control creates suffering. Accepting uncertainty while maximizing agency creates freedom. The intention delay principle shows you that consciousness follows action. Probabilistic thinking dissolves false certainty. Negative visualization builds resilience. Outcome detachment improves performance. The circle sorting method clarifies agency. Micro-chaos exposure strengthens adaptability. Attribution reframing balances responsibility. Surrender scheduling contains anxiety. Influence inventory reveals leverage. Locus shifting creates flexibility. Together, these 10 methods form a complete framework for thriving in an uncontrollable world. You're not abandoning ambition. You're directing it precisely where it matters. Your transformation doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts the moment you pause 5 seconds before your next automatic action. It starts when you speak in probabilities instead of certainties. It starts when you visualize obstacles instead of fantasies. The person you're capable of becoming, calm amid chaos, effective without anxiety, influential without control, already exists as potential within you. These 10 techniques are the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to be. Your future self is waiting on the other side of surrender.